Armies that follow Jesus in Revelation 19. When Jesus returns as the warrior to judge and make war in Revelation 19:11, he will not be coming alone. Revelation 19:14 says, "And the armies in heaven, clothed in fine linen, white and clean, followed him on white horses." This naturally raises the question, who are these clothed in fine linen, white and clean, following the Lord? For whoever they are, the Bible says they are already in heaven before the Lord's return to make war. Otherwise, it would not be possible for an army to follow the Lord who comes out of heaven if the army were not already in heaven. The text describes this army as being clothed in fine linen, white and clean. This is very similar to the description of the wedding garments, although there is a difference in the word used for white. The white clothing of the army is the word lukos, meaning dazzling light, brightness, like the garments of angels and of those exalted to the splendor of the heavenly state. It symbolizes a glorified form. The word lukos also means shining or white garments worn on festive or state occasions, and of white garments as the sign of innocence and purity of the soul. Lukos is the word used when describing the transfiguration of Jesus in Matthew 17 verse 2, which says, "He was transfigured before them. His face shone like the sun, and his clothes became as white as the light." The word white used for the wedding garments is not lukos, as it was for the armies, but is the word lampras, meaning brilliant, clear, splendid, and magnificent, elegance in dress or style. Truly, these are the wedding garments. She will be clothed magnificently, elegantly, shining, and brilliant. So the two descriptions are very similar, but a slightly different emphasis. Okay. What we know so far about these armies is, firstly, that they are already in heaven, because that's what the verse says, and they're in heaven and they follow the Lord who comes out of heaven. And secondly, they are wearing fine linen, white and clean. Now, to me, there are only two possible answers of who these riders on white horses could be. Either they are the bride, or they are the angels. Maybe since verse 11 actually uses the plural armies, it is possibly both. Well, let's look at Revelation 17 verse 14 to help further in the identification process. "They will make war with the Lamb, but the Lamb will conquer them, because he is Lord of Lords and King of Kings. And those accompanying the Lamb are the called, chosen, and faithful." This verse helps to identify the company of those returning with the Lord as the called, chosen, and faithful. Because these terms are not used for angels, but for those who have been saved and remain faithful, we now know that those who return as an army upon white horses following the Lord as he comes out of heaven to make war are his bride. This is consistent with the context of the preceding passage of the bride ready and arrayed in bright, clean linen. Does this mean that the angels are not also returning? Well, indeed, the angels are also described as wearing pure and white linen, as in Revelation 15 verse 6. Well, there are other passages that mention the angels returning with the Lord at various times. like Matthew 13, verse 41, talking of the end time harvest. Matthew 24, verse 31, a reference to the rapture, and Matthew 25, verse 31, Jesus returning in glory with the angels. So, in answer to our question, who are these returning with the Lord in Revelation 19, we can be confident that it is a reference to the bride, but because the term is plural, armies, and the angels are mentioned at various times in other passages, specifically as returning with the Lord, it is reasonable to expect that the angels will be among the Lord's armies when he returns. So, why is this important? Because it helps to unravel the chronology and sequence of future events which is necessary if we are to be prepared as we should for what lies ahead. We cannot look at the Lord's return as a warrior here in Revelation 19 as being the same time as the rapture, because this is the bride returning with her bridegroom having already prepared, not the bridegroom coming for his bride. No, she is following the Lord out of heaven, which means at this point, she is not on the earth. Therefore, the rapture event takes place before this, before Revelation 19. And we'll come to that next time.